Welcome to That's Runnable. If you're not watching this, you won't know that I am currently recording this in my local park. And that is because it's quite embarrassing to do so. I'm sat here with two dogs over there with their dog owners. A man filming the bushes over there. There's another dog owner and her dog there. Some people over there. And I'm concerned about what they might be thinking about me. Because I'm sat here with a tripod, my laptop, and a mic, which is clearly not just a small mic. This is a noticeable mic. And the reason I'm doing this is because today we're going to be talking about caring what other people think. One of the biggest barriers out there. Caring what other people think. And the reason we're talking about this today is because this morning I found myself overly concerned about this very topic. I was, for whatever reason, just obsessing in my own head about how I was perceived. How people were looking at me and seeing me on social media. Occasionally this can happen. I can kind of overthink how other people are considering my content and what I'm saying and how I seem and all this stuff. And I recognized it. I recognized that I was caring a bit too much what other people think, and it's been a mission of mine for many years now to care less. And then this afternoon, I received a message. Serendipitous. And I was going through my DMs on social media and on Instagram, and this message popped up. And it's not a message I haven't received before. And it said this: I don't know what's wrong with me. I want to go for a run or hit the gym or something, but the second I think about actually stepping outside, my brain just floods with all these stupid thoughts. What if someone I know sees me and thinks I look ridiculous? What if I'm running too slow and people are judging me? What if I go to the gym and I don't know what I'm doing? And it's so dumb because I know deep down nobody really cares, but it still gets to me. On days when I feel good or motivated, I can push past it. But on the days I'm already tired or low, those thoughts win every time. So I just stay in. And I hate myself for it. Not because I missed a workout, but because I let that version of me win again. The one who cares more about strangers' opinions than their own health or goals. I know I need to change it, I just don't know how. You seem to not struggle with this, but I know I'm not the only one because my friend has the same problem. How do you care less about what other people think of you? It seems to be my greatest nemesis at the moment, and I can't seem to shake it. This is a pretty normal problem to have. And I'll tell you why it's normal. It's human nature. If you think about it, we all should care what other people think. Right? We are a collaborative species. We should be concerned with staying part of the group, with not being shunned and ostracized. That's a pretty human concern to have. So, off the bat, I just want to make sure you know that it's normal to care what other people think. But one of the single most, maybe the most revolutionary things that's happened to me and that's changed in me in the last 5 years or so is caring less what other people think. Caring less about what other people think. Now, the truth is, I do care. If you're watching this, you'll see me constantly checking over my shoulder, not actually looking at the camera, because I care. I care about what it seems like, what other people's opinions are, what other strangers' opinions of me are as I sit here in the park with a microphone and a laptop and a tripod, clearly filming myself and doing, I don't know, what am I doing? What are other people thinking about what I'm doing? The reason I've come to this park is I thought it'd be quite a fun little way to sort of present this podcast, to be honest. You know, I was feeling insecure about how I was being perceived online this morning. I have a message come in this afternoon about this very topic. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to take myself to an environment where I know I'm going to feel weird and like other people are watching, where I know I'm going to care what other people think, and I'm going to record this for you. So here we are. So I do care. I am not completely immune from other people's opinions. I care. I'm human. We all care. But there is something incredibly freeing when you start to practice not caring. And I want to apologize if it's windy. This is not tested. This could be one of those episodes where the sound is awful. I'm doing my best. But if it's windy, I do apologize. But like all things, with practice comes improvement. With practice comes improvement. In the early days, when I started recording content on social media, let me just get into a more comfortable position. Ooh. When I started making content on social media, I really cared. I cared way more than I do now. But I would, as I hovered my thumb over the post button, I would hesitate. And I'd go back and I'd watch the video again. And I'd question many things. I'd even question, the certain inflection and tonality of my voice when I was saying something, or a facial expression, or how do I seem? Do I seem arrogant in that? Do I seem overconfident? Do I seem underconfident? All of these questions as I made this content. I cared so much. But with repeat exposure to putting myself in a position where I was forced to not care what other people think, I have trained that muscle over time. By posting hundreds of these videos, I have trained that muscle. I am someone who goes out on a run and I film myself as I run and I talk to the camera in public, usually in London. It's easy when I'm out on the trails when no one's around, easy. But when I'm here in London, in this very park, I'm so concerned with what other people are thinking. You should see if you were to see behind the scenes of some of my videos, I'd be running along and then I'll pick up my camera, my phone, and I'll start filming myself, and then I'll see someone coming around the corner and I'll quickly stop and act like nothing's happening. Or I'll be running and then there'll be a 100-meter stretch where no one's around, and I'll think, okay, I've got a chance here to, say that sentence that I have planned in my head, so I'll pick it up and I'll say the sentence. As long as no one's watching, I'm good. I do it every day. Every day I film in public. I have to practice. I have to train this muscle with repeat exposure to try and care less what other people think. And so far, practicing that, caring less, putting myself into situations where I might be embarrassed, has been a game changer in my life, has been the most impactful thing I have ever decided to do. If I had cared what other people think completely, I wouldn't have posted my first video. I wouldn't have started this podcast very recently. I wouldn't have started a Substack. I wouldn't have started writing newsletter emails to people. I wouldn't have qualified as a personal trainer after having a good, solid, reputable, in inverted commas, career. What else would I not have done? So many things. There are so many things that have got me to where I am now that I would never have done if I was overly concerned with other people's opinions. You have to practice. With repeat exposure, you will improve your ability to care less what other people think. To care less about what other people think. Now, in the context of running and gym, I think a part of this is less about the running and more about identity. Big topic. I've been in plenty of environments where I have felt insecure and felt like out of place. And those environments, every time, have been environments where whatever is going on doesn't align with my identity. Doesn't align with who I really am. There are countless examples of this. I could give fake examples. Let's say you're really not into clubbing. You just don't like clubbing. But you want to be accepted by some people and they're really into clubbing. Getting ready for the club, you're going to be massively concerned about how you look. Because you want to dress the right way. You want to be sort of accepted by those other people. All of that is about identity. It's a misalignment of identity. Your identity as a person, how you see yourself, if you are that person, is not someone who goes clubbing. So you're going to be out of place. You're going to feel insecure. Is that a rubbish example? Probably. I'll give you another more running related example. You go to a run club full of rapid whippets. They're all road running, track training athletes. They all care only and exclusively about who can run the fastest. And you've never really trained like that. You don't really care about those things. But you have gone along. You're a runner, but you've gone along to this club, this run club. You're going to be really concerned about what other people think, naturally. Because you know that all of their opinions, all of their perspectives are based on whether you're fast, whether you wear carbon shoes. That's basically it, isn't it? That's all they care about. And so you're going to feel out of place. And so it's as much about identity as it is about anything else. So with that, if you think about caring what other people think and ensuring that you have a strong understanding of your own identity, if you think about caring what other people think and then you think about why you care and whether there's a misalignment of identity, maybe then you can start to think a little bit harder about what is truly your own identity. If you have a strong understanding of yourself and your identity as an individual, you will care less what other people think. So, if you practice with repeat exposure, putting yourself into scenarios that you think are embarrassing, in time, you will feel more comfortable in those scenarios and you will eventually care less what other people think. I keep missing the about. And if you have a strong understanding of who you are, your identity as an individual, what matters to you, that will also help to care less about what other people think. And then thirdly and finally, and this is related to running, but I also want to make sure that it feels like it's related to anything. Focus on the reasons you're doing it. Focus on the reasons you're doing it. There is no stronger... How do I say this? Nothing will work better for you when you're concerned about other people's opinions than when you consider strongly the reasons you're doing what you're doing. In the context of running and going to the gym, there are good, proper reasons, easily found, for why you're doing what you're doing. If you're going for a run, it can be as simple as you're just working on yourself. It can be for weight loss. It can be for pride. It can just be for cardiovascular health. These are good reasons, strong reasons. There could be even stronger reasons. You could be doing it for a loved one. You could be raising money. You could be, whatever the reasons are. There's so many. Your why. We talk a lot about your why. Think about that. Think about why you're doing it. Build out a strong set of reasons. Build out a strong why for why you're going out for runs or you're going to the gym. Because when you do actually build out something that compels you, something that gets you up in the morning, you will be far less concerned with how other people are perceiving you. I think about this when I think about my content. I have a big reason why I make my content. I have many reasons. Ultimately, overall, it is to help others. I see a lot of people struggling with their own mental and physical health, and I want to help in some way. That to me, when I am running along filming myself, if I remember that, if I remember the real reasons why I'm doing it, immediately I care less what other people think. Immediately. If I'm running along and I see someone see me filming myself, if in that moment I'm able to remember why I do what I do, it seems trivial to give a fuck what other people think. It seems trivial. So, with repeat exposure, a strong understanding of your own identity, and a formidable reason why you're doing the things you're doing, you will start to care less about what other people think. So with those sort of 3 practical tips, I also just want to talk about how this has affected me in my life. You know, how caring less about what other people think has been probably the most impactful thing for me. You know, over the years, I have cared a lot about what other people think. I have been overly concerned. I'm a bit of an overthinker. I'm someone who probably overanalyzes quite a lot of stuff. And one of those things historically has always been how other people perceive me, other people's opinions of me. And I have to say I'm in a better place with this than I ever have been before. I really feel like it's probably the most impactful thing that's happened to me is the most impactful and important thing I've ever worked on in myself has been this consideration, or trying to rid this over consideration, if you like, of what other people are thinking of me. And so I want to talk about how I've sort of gone about doing that outside of trying to, expose myself to environments like this, outside of creating a strong understanding of myself and my identity, and having real proper reasons, bigger reasons why. Outside of all of that, I think there is some practical advice I can give in terms of just ways to think about this stuff and kind of bringing perspective. Here's a doggy. Are you ready? Hello. Do you want to be in the podcast? Yeah. Hello, Alf. Oh, yes. I think I've given him too much attention now. Go on then. Is he? So am I. Oh, you are needy. Go on. Go on. See ya. That was fun. So I think I can give you some basic practical advice, I guess, like in terms of the way I've tried to over the years think about this, because I do see this in other people. I see this sort of real concern with what other people think, and I see it as something that stops people. I've worked with a few people, it makes it sound formal. I've tried to help other people with making content, and the most important thing and the most common problem I've seen from people when they're making content in this specific realm is an inability to be themselves. And overcoming that is such a difficult thing to do, I think, when you're filming yourself or when you're, recording yourself like this. It's really difficult to come across like yourself because, you got the tripod, you got the camera, as soon as the camera's on, you're like overthinking. And so, yes, it comes with practice, of course, but there are some things that I think might help, I guess, that I hope come to mind as I think about it, that I've sort of used, I guess. And that is, the first it being, when I think about how much I think of others and how much I sort of judge others, I remember that if anyone's like me, they don't care what other people are doing. They couldn't care less. And I don't think I'm special. So I think the majority of people are more concerned with their own thoughts, their own life and what they're doing than with what you're doing. That is something that I think is true most of the time. But to sort of expand on that, I guess, there is a caveat. And the caveat is that if you are overly concerned with how you come across, with what other people might think of you, it might be, if you're overly concerned with how others are judging you, it might be that you are quite judgmental yourself. So have a think about that, because I see this a lot in others as well. Often the most judgmental people are actually the most insecure people. They're the ones who don't look comfortable in their own skin. But if you are someone who is not judgmental, then you'll easily be able to understand that no one cares. No one cares what you're doing. They might think about it for a bit, but then they'll remember how weird they are, and they'll move on. So that's the first bit of advice, on top of the first 3 points I gave you, that I want to give. And that is that other people just are way less concerned about you than you think. They're too concerned about their own thing. Another thing I want to say is, if someone does care, if someone cares about what you're doing, if someone's judging what you're doing, that is exactly the type of person that you should not care at all about their thoughts and opinions. The person who cares what you're doing and is judging what you're doing from afar is the last person whose opinion you should care about. So yeah, you might go to the gym and someone might be judging you for something, for getting something wrong, and they might be sniggering in their own mind. But that's exactly the type of person you shouldn't care about. And there might be someone who will be looking at you and they might just be thinking, you go. Yeah, good effort, putting that in. And you're thinking that they're thinking something else. They're the sort of people that you want feedback from, that you would care, whose opinion you'd care about, would probably be people who are only going to have positive, uplifting opinions about you. So there's that. The most liberating thing is to realize that you're not special. The most liberating thing is to realize that you're not special. We're told all through our childhood that we're special, right? And I do believe we're unique. Everyone is unique. But when I realized I wasn't special, then I realized that everyone was like me. All of the concerns that I have in my head, other people have as well. I'm thinking so much about me. That must mean that everyone else is as well. They're all thinking about themselves. So why am I worried that they're thinking about me? You're not special. Everyone's going through similar stuff. It matters far less than you might think. It matters far less than you might think. The things you're concerning yourself with in terms of caring what other people think, whether it's making content and your facial expression on the content, or it's your tone of voice on the content, or it's how you look when you go out for a run. Maybe it's the shoes you're wearing, or the top you're wearing, or the shorts, or whatever. How you look, in real terms, does not matter. Doesn't matter at all. It matters far, far less than you're giving it credit for. You're giving it far too much attention. The things that you're genuinely concerned about are usually so small. They're usually so small. But what you've done, and what we all do, is you've inflated them to make them seem way more important than they really are. You're not special. The things you're concerned about matter far less than you might think. And everyone is way more concerned about themselves than they are you. Okay, finally, after all this rambling, I want to say, on top of repeat exposure to embarrassment or scenarios where you might feel embarrassed, in running, the more you do it, the more familiar you get with getting out the door and going for a run, the less you'll care about other people's opinions, but not just because you're repeatedly exposing yourself to that scenario, but because you will prove to yourself time and time again that you're capable. You will build up a level of pride in yourself that not going for a run does not achieve. That's one of the beauties of running. Running is a daily practice. It's something that, or almost daily practice. It's something that we do every day. We go out, we build endurance, we build fitness, we build strength. These things overflow into our lives. They overflow into our character. And so the final message I want to give you, if you're overly concerned about what other people think, is keep doing it. Just do it. Be concerned. Be concerned initially. That's fine. You can care what other people think initially. You will care. But just keep showing up. Promise yourself that you will keep doing it. When you're unmotivated and insecurity is screaming, remember that this is the best opportunity to show up, to overcome that lack of motivation, but to also overcome that insecurity, to build confidence in yourself, and to care less about what other people think. That's it. That's all I have for you. I feel like I've, from the start of recording this, from walking to this spot, setting everything up, even setting things up, I was embarrassed. I was looking around what people are going to think. I'm now sat here, and someone could just walk straight up to me and I'd be like, hey, I'm recording a podcast. I've exposed myself to this embarrassing scenario, and I believe I'm better for it. So, I hope you enjoyed that episode. It was a bit of a special one. And maybe send it to a friend. If you are enjoying this podcast, I really hope you do rate it and you share it around. It really helps the podcast. It's a difficult thing to do. I'm doing all of it. I'm doing all of the editing and everything, all that stuff. And it's difficult to sort of allot enough time to it in delegation mode at the moment. A lot of effort goes into each one, but I love it. This is my favourite part of the content making I do. Whether it's sort of a light-hearted topic, whether it's talking to a mate about ultras, or whether it's a deeper topic, or whether it's like a more structured episode about training for a marathon or something, whatever it is, I love doing it. I love spending the time preparing for it, and I even love getting into the park like this, and maybe we'll do this more. So anyway, if you like it, if you really like this podcast, and you've been listening to it for a little bit, then show your support in any way you want to, and I would be massively appreciative. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for listening. Keep showing up for yourself. Run the runnable. And I'll see you next time.